For coming for our second check-in of the Community Development Initiative. For those who are online, perhaps this Is everybody online like part of this or?
Yeah.
So everybody pretty much is familiar with the program. I hope that everything is going well with your teams. As you can see, not all the teams are here, but we're very grateful for those that are. And on the agenda for today, we have 4 things. We're going to have our check-ins, which we're going to orchestrate just like last time, about 5 minutes per team and another 2 minutes for questions, clarifications. At the end of the check-ins, we want to identify, and I encourage you to take notes, what is surfacing as far as resources that may be required, potential action items that we can recommend for certain teams or all the teams, things like that. We want to just kind of have a wrap up on what we've heard today. And we also want to talk about the format for the offerings during Srila Prabhupada's Appearance Day next week, and the organization of future check-ins. So because 2 of the team representatives have to leave early, Jaya leaves at 10:30, Madhurata at 11:30, I'm going to start with the 2 last items, Prabhupada's Appearance Day and how to organize the future check-ins, and then we'll have you guys start. You can see you have 2 different reference sheets in front of you. One is for today, and the other one are the questions you can use as guidelines for that offering during Srila Prabhupada's Appearance Day. And, the purpose of doing that, we thought of this, was Jai Shri Krishna's idea a while back. It's a nice way for you to be able to share with Prabhupada and the rest of the community what you've been doing. And it's a nice way for the community to also know what's happening with these teams, and perhaps some devotees may want to join your team. So that's one of the questions we included. And maybe look over these questions while you're here, and if you have any questions or additions for that particular day, we can talk about that. Mother Mukhya is asking that we respect the timing. It's going to be from 5 to 5:30, followed by the remainder of the offerings to Srila Prabhupada that start in the morning. Yeah, so this will be the afternoon session. So the timing, first of all, will everybody here be presenting an offering on Prabhupada's Appearance Day? We have 3 teams. No, I'm sorry, 4 teams we have. Right, so everybody's willing and ready to do that. So I think 4 teams, that's 20 minutes and a little introduction. So 5 minutes per team should work out. You may not need that much. I would say if you can do it in 3 minutes, do it in 3 minutes. Neela will be there. I actually won't be there, but he'll help coordinate and he'll give a little, or Jai Shri Krishna, I think, is giving a little introduction. Any questions for Prabhupada's Appearance Day?
Who aren't here are not allowed to come, or they don't exist?
So temple management support hasn't really manifested, and I don't think it's going to happen. Youth development, I think there's still some life in that team. Some of the members that were pretty committed, Kumari Kunti and Jagannath, but they're out of town, so that's. And has anybody spoken to Ramai?
Not sure.
So yeah, Jai Shri Krishna is supposed to check in with them, so we'll find out about them. There's adult education. It's also Jai Shri Krishna is supposed to check in with them. Hopefully he's going to be here soon. But I think they're also, I know 2 of their team members are in other countries, so I'm not really sure. And business networking, it's still, what would you say?
It's a project more than a team.
It's really the website project, and it hasn't begun, but it's still on the map for sure. So yeah, I think that's where we're at with the teams, and for Prabhupada's Appearance Day, I think we could assume it's going to be the teams that are here today. Any other questions? Okay. So the other thing we wanted to discuss is the organization of these topics. These check-ins. We were hoping to have this kind of self-sustain within the teams without us having to organize them every time. Part of it is kind of a strategic plan so that if other communities wanted to model this, you start with a CDI survey, and in the end, you have these self-sustained teams that do the check-ins on their own as well. We could also use the time to focus on other projects. But of course, we don't want to just lay it on you. We're here to help, and we're, asking, is this a possibility? If we were to help you with the organization, it's basically sending out an email. We can share the email program that we have with all of the teams, and perhaps organizing a little snack, and knowing the frequency. How often do you want to have these check-ins? Is that pretty much the idea, Neil?
Yeah, we were actually thinking rather than in between the check-ins, having to reach out to everyone to find out a check-in day, we would just set a day right here. So at this meeting, we'll set the next check-in, and then we'll just see, okay, who's available to help coordinate, which is basically just making sure the space is available here, or Banner is usually the top two, and then sending out an email with the time and the location, and getting here early and setting up their own. So it's not a
Do all
lot.
this technology stuff too?
You don't have to have a microphone.
Yeah, you don't have
it
to.
It could really be done with.
We could do it in somebody's living room and just.
You could, right? Make it a pool party.
Yeah, and we'll be there too. We'll be there for the check-ins. But it's just so that if one of us are out of town, or if we're part of your teams, that it kind of has its own way to sustain.
I agree that that's a possibility, but then who is going to be that individual who will see that venue is ready, whatever. If it's not going to be you.
Well, we would assign at today's check-in the team that would take care of that, and it doesn't have to be one individual. It's a whole team that's going to be, hey, we're doing the logistics for the next check-in, and perhaps another team can take care of bringing some prashad. And then at the next check-in, you just rotate this another team, and you already have the date set ahead of time. So. No, not too enthusiastic. I'm not feeling the enthusiasm. Okay, well, what was that, Jay? It's doable. Okay. So maybe your team can do it next time. Well, like Neil said, we'll.
Pick the date, and then.
Yeah, and we'll help with this next one. It's kind of an experiment. We'll assist whoever's doing it and see how it goes. Another question that kind of goes along with that is, at this point in time, how important do these check-ins feel to you? Important.
Sort of accountability.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I think
definitely the
they're
idea.
And also inspiration.
Right. Okay, so we all agree that the check-ins are important and we should keep doing that. Okay. All right, so we'll talk with you, Jaya. Thank you for showing some enthusiasm. You're part of the CDI team anyway. So. So let's talk about the date. When do we want this next one to be? We started off with the idea that it was a quarterly check-in. It doesn't have to be a quarterly check-in. It's whatever you all feel is going to keep you on the move, and like you said, the accountability. You want us to do it? Okay, so we're sticking with the 3 months.
Yeah, before the holiday.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Okay.
So when does it-
Do you have that Vaishnava calendar?
Thanksgiving is the 28th. So the 20, you want Saturday, 23rd or the 16th? November 16th is 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And I'd be better because some people leave to that whole week. Good point.
I don't see that on the November calendar. It might be in a different month this year.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, it was originally on November 14th.
So looking like the date?
16th or the 23rd of the two, so we can just kind of see if there's any.
Okay. Who's good on the 16th of November? Or no? Is someone else from your team available? And the 23rd? Same.
She'll be back. I'm
23rd is the weekend before Thanksgiving. So if anyone's going out of town for family, possibly they would go out of town
Let's do the 16th.
for that week.
16th?
Let's do the 16th, yeah.
So November 16th is the next check-in, and we will work with the Varnashram team for the, Backyard Bhakti. I'll coordinate that. All right, thank you.
The date for the conference is
All right, anything else we need to cover as far as the next check-in?
Not that I see.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on to the check-ins. As a reminder, this is to give an update on your progress, share your successes and challenges, and identify any collaboration or support resources that the teams may need moving forward. We're going to do, like I said, 5 minutes and another 2 minutes for questions. Taking notes, you may want to write down the point of contact for that particular team. And yeah, that's about it. We'll start with Jaya, followed by the devotee care teams. And Prashadam is here. I would say just serve yourselves anytime of Prashadam. Come here, Jaya, if you don't mind. Sit down. You gotta get in front of this camera. You want to sit or stand?
My name is Jairadhe, and I'm a team delegate for the Backyard Bhakti group. Our team's mission and vision statement. The vision statement is to create a community is a community where members live a simpler, more natural way of life as taught by Srila Prabhupada. And the mission statement is to encourage and facilitate a collaborative culture in the community for learning and implementing sustainable agriculture and cow protection. Okay, what is a community need or service that our team aims to support or fulfill? Basically, the representing Varnashram, I'm not really we just want to help facilitate devotees, especially our first project has been the Backyard Bhakti program of developing 108 gardens in people's backyards. So we've gotten 5 done so far, and we were away for the summer. So we'll hopefully start back again in September and get a few more done. Let's see. I don't have my SMART goal. I just finally got into our documents, so I'm not sure exactly. But basically, 108 gardens in our community's backyards. I don't recall a timeline specifically, but let's see. We've accomplished 5 gardens so far. What constraints are preventing our goals from being achieved? Not a whole lot, just time really. We had a few members out of town, so we were away for the summer, but other than that, I think everything's going well. How would you describe your team's organization and camaraderie? I think it's a pretty good team. We are using the sociocracy method. So we're fortunate enough to have Keshianta Prabhu to help us get that organized, and Mother Tapaswini is also very organized and on top of things, and her husband as well. So let's see, what potential resources or organizational support would improve your chances of success? Well, one thing that we've been reaching out to a few younger generation people is basically online media and advertising and stuff. I think we're doing okay with that, but if anybody has any tips for that, or any successes or experiences that they want to share, that'd be great. Are there other action teams that you would like to collaborate with? I wish I would have looked over this list honestly before just now. So not a whole lot. I'm not sure. I'm sure. I think we've talked in the past maybe about some groups, but I don't know off the top of my head. Does your team have a social media page? Yes, we are the Backyard Puppies Support Group on Facebook. And we'll be presenting your team's offering at the temple. Backyard Puppy Support. And we can add you to the group. I'm guessing Ride open up for going in the meeting, maybe. We'll see. Okay. Thank you.
Stay there for any questions for Diane? Clarification, suggestions?
Or does what you do cost money? So
Yes.
like you can fundraise or how you can?
Well, we asked for $108 for the beds from the owner. So, yeah, I know that you had mentioned something about getting grants and being able to do it.
Yeah,
Get
connected
them.
with Florida Organic.
So that would be
Growers,
really
they
good.
have grant funds that do the same
Okay.
thing, so.
Florida Organic Growers.
And the people who sign up for that, besides $108, was there something else about them participating?
Yes, so we're asking that they come to 2 other garden setups to kind of just build. I mean, part of it is also bringing the community together, so we're able to bring the community together in that way by getting them to help with other projects, and it also just helps with manpower.
Right, no, it's like a Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking of.
And you guys checking on the gardens like a certain amount of time after they're installed?
So,
Taking pictures of it or things like that?
yeah, well, we were kind of away for the summer.
Right.
So,
Well, just the
I
plan.
was the pilot garden, and my garden needs a little help right now. But yeah, basically I set up the watering sprinkler. I mean, it's all learning experiences, but the weeds are like, really high right now, and I'm kind of scared to go over there. So I have to get some mulch, but we'll be back. I'm still growing some things in there. It's good.
You may have mentioned it, but are there other future projects that you guys are considering?
We definitely want to get into other projects, but we just wanted to make sure that this one is self-sustaining. So that's part of also the sociocracy model. Like when you can either replace an old group or kind of like create a subgroup once you have a new project, or if you feel like that old project is well established, then you can kind of move on. You can decide whichever one is more important. But right now we're just focusing our energy to make sure that it's going to continue on its own, which we haven't really gotten so much other people to volunteer and actually set up people's gardens yet. So I think that's where we're headed.
I have one other question. The sociocracy, sounds like you guys have really been following that, implementing it. The whole team is happy doing that?
Yeah. And Sean Kishore Prabhu also suggested that we look at Agile. So we're gonna see if we're gonna incorporate that. But basically, instead of doing huge projects that last for years and years and become like void by the time you're done with them, you kind of aim to have like much smaller projects. So like 2-week increments is in the business world when you're working every day. So it might be like just you make 1-month goals instead of like, oh, time to go. Okay.
No.
Instead of long goals.
Okay.
Yeah. That are become outdated. So.
You have 108 people waiting in line.
We do have a waiting list. We don't have that many people yet. We're working on it.
And if you want to join your team, who do they contact? Do they contact you? Do they contact Gopinath through any of you?
They can contact any of us, I would think. Yeah, Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Mother Tapasvini.
Okay.
Keshav Prabhu is kind of taking a little break for now, but
Okay.
we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. But the 3 of us for sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Could I take a quick minute to ask Judge Krishna to update us on those 3 things? Yeah.
I can speak to.
Do you want to come over here?
Yeah, because I think we still have time before you have to go.
Yeah, I'm good.
While Jay is still here. We weren't too sure, was it adult education and what was the other? Youth development. You had a quick update on that.
Yeah, so, Hare Krishna. I'll start with adult education. We actually started off on a really good ground. We had almost 15 people participating in a bi-weekly meeting right after the third conference had ended. We had developed the mission and goal, but I think what ended up happening is that the mission, the mission started getting too wide. We wanted to implement online learning courses. We actually had some courses that were lined up that Mahatma Prabhu had already kind of conducted through his own personal preaching program. We wanted to kind of make it into a more professional, great version of it with visual graphics and other abilities to it. And then the scope started getting wider and wider because now you needed more resources. Before that, you needed like a full-time a person to take care of this thing. We had limited amount of funds. So then what ended up happening is some individuals within the group suggested, we should reach out to the ISKCON Ministry of Higher Education, MOH, I think it's called. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but so then we kind of contacted them. We had a meeting with them in Mayapur during December, which I actually flew out there to meet Mahatma who happened to be there. Most people who happened to be there. And then the scope got even wider because the person's like, yeah, I want to do this, but I want to do it here in Mayapur. Because sannyasis and everybody travel to Mayapur on a once-a-year basis. I want to have a studio here so that they can just record the classes and then they can distribute it throughout the world and not just in one local community.
So they basically forgot about the NRR part of this.
Correct. Correct. Because the reason why I entertained the idea was because initially we thought, if someone else is working on the ISKCON and we're working on it, why don't we collaborate and see what we can do together? Because the person, the ISKCON Ministry of Education in Mayapur had resources to develop a lab and have some dedicated programmers who could actually then take videos from different individuals around the world and make them into a professional looking, video class and then offer it on a platform online, which could then be accessed by everyone around the world.
So who is still in the team that's still local, and is there still a potential? We're just trying to identify if
understand.
there's still a team or not really.
There isn't a team. We have stopped meeting after December. After that meeting that happened in India, because Janmashtami Prabhu was like, I'm going to Janmashtami Prabhu and Mahatma Prabhu were the two main leaders. Mahatma Prabhu with his content on teaching materials and subject matter and all that stuff, and Janmashtami Prabhu with operations. Because he has some of the connections, and he has done Krishna Institute and other Mayapur Institute of Higher Education.
Is it worth trying to somehow revive this, or not really?
At this point in time, no. Mahatma Prabhu is continuing on with his own individual mission of going to different places and preaching. And it would be worth reviving if there was interest in the community and people came forward, and we could start like on a smaller basis, which could be just like a live, either Facebook or Google Record. Has an option to kind of just record a class that could be participated by people remotely on a regular basis. So there's some argument to that. I think there's one individual group that's kind of trying out on a smaller scale, but they don't want to be mentioned because they don't want to be known too far and don't want too many people hugging up and kind of jeopardizing their operation currently. So that's where that whole program is. Yeah. Question.
What kinds of curriculum? I maybe missed that point.
That was initially discussed. I didn't discuss it today, but yeah, the curriculum was either Bhakti Shastri programs, or initially we wanted to start out with two initial programs that were in our goal were train the trainer, meaning how do you give an online class? What are the etiquettes? Getting a green screen, what equipment do you need, and kind of making suggestions like that. And then the second one was how to develop a learning curriculum. If you're going to teach Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 to 6, how are you going to kind of make it like a professional learning curriculum. You know, how do you start out? How do you develop the index? You know, what kind of class schedules you need to have? How do you handle attendance, non-attendance, tests, things like that. Which was, I think, was a very good idea because a lot of people have knowledge to share, are not familiar with the teaching process.
And maybe briefly the youth development.
Yes, so the youth development, I've been kind of meeting them on a regular basis. What's happening is there's like always a big burst of energy towards festival times, then things kind of simmer down. Unfortunately, they have not been meeting on a regular basis. They do meet. The leading personnel in this group is Jagannath Kavi, then Sriram Boda, and Manoram. But Manoram has been traveling, as you all know. So whenever Manoram is out of town, things kind of simmer down over there and not much is happening. But around the festival time, they start meeting with each other. And with the initial goal what they came out with is somehow or other engage the youth in some kind of sports activity or some kind of festival. And then secondly, bridging the gap, which they are inviting Senior Prabhupada disciples to kind of speak to a group of youth about how they joined just about their lifetime and their trials and tribulations in Krishna consciousness and what the youth can learn from them in terms of growing continually in Michigan. Correct. That's tonight, yeah. Bridging the gap. I thought that, you're going to be a Sriram, and I'll have to look into it. Maybe it wasn't specifically in their goals, but it's just the same individuals.
It's the same individual.
Right.
What I'm trying to identify here is this still a CDI action team? And
No, we can follow up.
do we need to follow up? And so you would say yes?
I would say yes. I would say yes. And I can speak more to them later tonight. It's hard to kind of get everyone in the same room. Initially, if you remember during the training, we said one of the key things is to kind of have a regular meeting to say, yes, it's working or no, it's not working. How are we going to solve it? And it does require, it doesn't have to be weekly, bi-weekly, it can be monthly, whatever it is. But a constant effort towards making an organized approach towards achieving goals. This is what's going to guarantee success.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, Vivian? Yeah.
Just for the adult education, it just seems like it would be good. I mean, I know you said it's not really happening.
Mhm.
I guess in the future, it's really keep it simple. To me, it just sounded like it got just super complicated.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I would be thinking like someone who's already here. I mean, wow, people about he's busy. He's got
Yeah,
disciples, he's got a whole lot of people. Someone who's here who would like to just teach like a lot of the class,
Mhm.
basics here, because we've kind of been talking about that also for adults, something for teens,
Yeah.
which is already had this for kids, and just move from there and not worry, about
Too much. Yeah.
yeah,
One program. I agree.
yeah.
I mean that was the initial goal. That was the initial goal, trust me. But then one thing leads to another, and then and I tried to kind of bridge the scope and not go too far, or at least I went out to meet and I said, okay, how can we slice the piece of that bigger project out just for our community? But it just kept, the leaders would have to be in on that and not wanting to expand as much. Mahaprabhu's ambitions was to go out and reach the wider audience, which is, all great. I think then we lost the focus on the community.
What I think is in that area that would be great, and that's, I always thought of the Christian Institute would be a great entity to do that, but I don't know if that's still going to be the thing or not with the Matsumi being out. But specific topics that are really relevant to today's, Krishna society and, new generations trying to have careers. Like there's all these topics that really deserve to be, spoken about and there was an entity that took care of just having these little one-time topics and just advertising it, and if it's the right topic, a lot of people will come.
Kind of like how competition on the Twitter page is.
Hmm.
Talks.
Yeah.
Topic focus.
Yeah.
Chapter givers, yeah, exactly. So then who is we need on the local level? We could, for instance.
Yeah.
Approach them and say, could this.
That's a good question. I mean, I think everybody else was part. We had a programmer and his team from Jacksonville who were interested in developing this, but they're all also out of the loop. Jim Ross people were continuously traveling. And then the other people that they had brought in are all kind of have fizzled out. So it's unfortunate, but we don't. I mean, I guess what I would say that if we wanted to revive this, we have to look into an existing program that's ongoing. I think you mentioned there's some double beta teen classes, or
I mean, no.
no?
No.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking about Monterey's.
Oh, no, yeah, okay. Right. So we would have to kind of start from there and then see if that can be established as a solid base, and then go from,
Especially, it's been part of the master plan to eventually have a conference center on the property. And to me, that goes hand in hand. Some kind of entity that takes care of these seminars or education programs, and then you have the location to do it eventually. You gotta have both.
I think the underlying problem with this one, and even with the youth, one of the things that I think I remember Manoram Prabhu mentioning at one point in time, a big letter to just in general to his county presidents in the Americas, and you do need to have dedicated source for youth development. Similarly, you do need to have a dedicated source who's going to look into just education and course material like that for the community needs. So that it comes back to the funds, and it comes back to that, okay, if there's a really need, then how are we going to raise funds to address that need? So I think that is the CDI and as individuals of the different leader groups, that is one question we have to address to figure out how are we going to get to it.
I really, do we not have enough people giving philosophical classes that if you wanted 24 hours a day, you could go online, you could play old cassette tapes, whatever. Like, is that really a need? Do we have a bigger need? Like we were saying, how do you choose a career and stay Krishna conscious at the same time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
So I'm a good segue because we're going to talk about healthcare.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. So. Okay, I think you all know I'm Radha Sylvester, and I run the Hare Krishna Social Services Program for the community, and Janmashtami is the 1-year anniversary of this being an official entity with a very small paycheck, which is cool. I've been doing this since 1993, but official now for a year. And so I took over the crisis committee, and then we merged with the elderly and the medical committee, and we've done 4 things so far this year. Pretty cool. So we started out with a mission. Well, we don't have a mission statement and all that kind of stuff. We just had a big discussion of all the 3 groups of what's like our priority right now. And so that started out in the fall. And then in February, we had our first presentation by Nautica organized that to talk about end-of-life documents. Okay, just like feet on the ground, practical stuff. Yes, you're not this body and your soul is going to go back to Godhead at some point, but like, what are we doing about your living will and your healthcare surrogacy and last will and testament and power of attorney and all that kind of stuff? And so Nautica's she's been awesome with like calling people like, did you get your papers done? Did you finish? So our goal was 108 people by Vyasa Puja, and we're at 44 that completed, which is really not too bad. I mean, it was a lot worse like a couple weeks ago, but Nautica got a few more people. And yeah. Right, and nobody wants to talk about it, and you have devotees that will actually say to you, well, I'm not this body, so I don't have to do anything. And therefore, all of their friends are going to have to deal with whatever, making those decisions, or maybe their life, because you didn't say, I don't want life support when I'm a vegetable, and you're just hooked up to wires forever. So anyway, so that is really good progress on that. We had 2 presentations, actually, because we had Haven Hospice come in March. And so a total of over 100 people came to the 2 different presentations. It was like 66 for the first and like 40 after that, coming to that. So we really kind of, I feel like we've made a little dent in it. So that was one thing. And then if you remember last time, Sama Priya said we need an end of life committee. So we now have an end of life committee. There's about 8 or 10 people who have volunteered to be on it. The first meeting is September 18th. I would really like to have more people involved in that, but this committee is going to assess what each of their strengths and interests are. I'm always into that. Do what you like, do what you're good at. That's my thing for volunteering. So, some people want to be the person who's chanting Hare Krishna. Some people want to be the person who's doing the last rites. And some people want to be the practical, okay, this is how you get a death certificate. This is how you deal with insurance. This is how we empty your loved one's home or whatever. So that committee is now starting September 18th, definitely open to more people. It's sort of like just to save the date right now. We'll figure out the rest of the details. The other thing that's been going on, and maybe this is more Hare Krishna Social Services, is we've been doing a monthly food distribution, which is a partnership with a Helping Hand, which is Vrindavaneshwari's charity. So she has funding. And so this started out at like 15 or 20 families coming to David's backyard. And we've had to move it out of his backyard for a couple different reasons. One being that the last time it was there, we had 53 families. And he's worried about the wood, like is the porch going to break because there's too many people and too much weight and food and stuff. So we moved it to the temple pavilion, and I was still in my mind calculating, probably 50 families, and we had 73, the equivalent of 197 individuals. And this is all, there's 2 people that I would say are just like congregation, coming in their shorts and whatever. But yeah, everybody else is, actual card carrying devotees.
And it's specifically
Yes.
specifically in your, or what kind of?
Okay, so anybody who is low income, anybody who is struggling, and we're not at this point like requiring proof of income or anything like that, but the food bank gives us this form to fill out. So you check out, do you get food stamps? Are you on disability? Are you on Social Security? Are you just income eligible? In other words, you're just low income. I know most of the people that are coming, and I know their situations, and they really just the fact that you could get enough boga to make a dent for maybe a week or half a week of your family's, for that month, it makes a huge difference for people. Yeah, it's really amazing. Yes. Yes, so it's boga from the food bank. So food bank, they have produce, and we pay 10 cents a pound for produce. And it's, I have to buy the produce on the day of the distribution. So I can't promise what there's going to be. But all the other non-perishable items are 18 cents a pound. And when nobody pays at this distribution, this is all coming out of Vrindavaneshwari's charity. And we're going to need to start fundraising to replenish that money. But when we started this, she had a whole bunch. And she was like, I'm not going to run out for at least a couple of years, but I think it'll be less. So, people made donations. So lots of cereals, grains, beans, chips, cookies. We got donated 127 pounds of chocolate chips and cranberry juice stuff. It was everybody can take 4, it was awesome. That kind of thing. So that's the food distribution. And now the biggest thing that's going on right now, and I need all your help to do, is that Chitra Gunderson, you remember what I'm talking about? Okay, so she said to me, because she was sitting next to me with her vegan cheese and I'm doing the social services at the temple. She says, why are we just doing things after the fact? We go help somebody after they have a heart attack, or we help somebody when they're dying. Why don't we be proactive and put on a health fair and get people thinking in terms of maybe I can make diet and lifestyle changes that would make me more healthy? And then it kind of expanded a bit more in terms of mental health, more social connections. So the 3 things, that we're working on are social things. There's one woman who's coming who does fabric art. Fiber art, that's what she calls it. She's a crocheter, and she wants to just get a group of people together. You sit around in a circle and everybody's doing their, they could quilting bee kind of thing, so that's kind of a social connection. And then connections for exercise, you can call it exercise sangha. So I would take a walk, but I really need someone else to go with me. You know what I mean? Or I would love to go swimming, but it's not safe to go by yourself, So to help people connect, also to help families with children, find other families with similar age so you can all be together. And then the more obvious thing that happens at a health fair, we have outside people coming as well to do screenings. So blood sugar, blood pressure, vision screenings, we have all of that coming on. And then free samples for things. There's a lady who teaches archery. She'll let people come out and practice archery for 10 or 15 minutes. And if you want to sign up for her class and, pay in the future, that'll be cool. I have kid activities. We have children's yoga and children's, capoeira, how do you say that word? The Brazilian martial arts thing? Capoeira. Okay, so that's happening for kids as well as kind of like an exercise obstacle course kind of a thing for kids and stuff too. So this is happening on Sunday, September 8th from 1 to 4. It's right before temple and it's right after all the festivals. So you had your fill of fried foods and sugar. And now it is time to get serious, right? So I really need help with the advertising on this because we have like 25 vendors at this point that are going to be coming. It's going to be set up in the Prasadam Pavilion and, kind of like you'll kind of walk around. The people will be kind of in the periphery. There'll be chairs in the middle. People want to sit and talk. On the stage, we'll have each of those vendors will get up and talk about what they're doing. And hopefully there'll even be some folks that'll like teach a mini yoga class. Here's an introductory yoga class and we'll just do it up on the stage. Jiva Goswami is taking care of the audio visual. Chitra and Blair and I and Anna Angel and Vanamati are the five. We're the subcommittee putting this together. So does this sound like something you would go to? You can put it on your calendar. We're even having door prizes, and if you come between 1 and 1:30, right in the beginning, you get double door prize tickets. I mean, come on, you can't say no to that. So it's Sunday, September 8th, 1 to 4. So I figured it's right before the temple, like you have to get dressed a little early.
What's the location?
Prasadam Pavilion. Yeah, the Prasadam Pavilion. And then we also have vendors, like people who sell prasadam. I said, don't bring your cookies, but bring your sushi, So from 1 to 4, there'll be prasadam available that you can buy. That's all in meeting our standards, So, bring idlis instead of pizza, that kind of stuff. So, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
To be proactive, yeah. And so in terms of obstacles, the biggest obstacle is my son's 2 near-death experiences in the last 3 months. Holy cannoli, yeah. So, we decided to do this health fair, and then I had to deal with him with a car accident and everything. So we really started planning this like 5 weeks before the event. And I said, we're going to keep it simple because we should have cooking demonstrations. We said, no, keep it as simple as we can do with, what the resources that we have for right now. And if we want to make this an annual thing in the conference center, it would be awesome. And we can invite outsiders as well. I mean, there's really not a reason. If you like Hare Krishnas enough to come to our temple, then, they can come too. So anyway, we need help with the advertising. Look is supposed to print up like these little 4-page little things that we can hand out to people to remind them. I don't know. So is that everything I had to add?
So that was 3 out of 4 programs
Yes.
from what I.
That's 4. I counted 4.
That is 4.
Yeah, and end of life documents, end of life committee, health fair, and food distribution. That's what we have done this year. And I don't know who did it. It's all of us together. Yeah. So far, yeah. That's what we got. And I don't know if I have any of these questions.
Are you guys all still meeting together?
Okay, so what happened when we decided to put on this health fair is that we just said, we're going to suspend the monthly meetings. We were meeting the 2nd or 3rd Wednesday of each month of the 3 committees together because we really didn't have an agenda at that point. The next thing we're doing is the health fair. If you want to help with the health fair, come to these meetings. If not, don't. And then September 18th, we'll start with the end of life committee. And so maybe after that's sort of established and on its own, then we can go back to having like the group meeting and figure out what's our next project. But I kind of like the idea of getting everybody to do end of life paperwork in January, February, March, because April is, what's the name of the holiday? Some kind of weird holiday, like, Healthcare Decisions Day. Healthcare Decisions Day is April 16th because taxes are due April 15th. So April 16th is Healthcare Decisions Day, and that's when the whole country does a push to try to get everybody to do their paperwork. So we can kind of resume pushing for that at that time. That's my idea.
Do you feel that your team is well organized and that's not an issue, or does that mean?
We are loosely organized.
Whoever wants to come to the meeting, come or don't.
Yeah.
From an organizational standpoint, it sounds
Loose. No, it's definitely loose. We have great camaraderie, but we are loosely organized because, I mean, I like people to do what they like and do what they're good at. And so if you want to come,
and you're happy
I'm totally happy with it. I don't know, is everybody else happy with it? You know. Yeah, it works. So, yeah, Nautica and Kumari and Bhanumati have been working on getting all the documentation from everybody and stuff too. So, I mean, I don't like to have meetings just for the sake of having a meeting. It's an interruption to everybody's life. So have a meeting when there's something that needs specifically to be done. And the first few meetings were like brainstorming about what do we want to do. And then once we figured it out, okay, you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing that. And you just kind of go, I think I run it like a Girl Scout troop. Loosely recognized, right? Yes.
For this end of life group that you're going to.
Yes, the committee.
Has anyone consulted like Gandari?
Yes. Okay, so I forgot to mention, Kumari took everything that I got input from a lot of different people, and Gandari was one of them. Haven Hospice gave me a paper, 125 things you need to do on the worst day of your life. Yeah, like, you know, logistical things that you might not think of because you're not thinking clearly when you're, you know, distraught. 1 minute, okay. And we had a few other people put input, and then she's typing it all up so that the committee will have like something to start with. We also have a listing of the different funeral homes and who does cremation and pricing and stuff like that too. That's in that.
And where can we get that list of 125 things for our own individual?
Yeah, Haven Hospice, yeah. Yeah, they're gonna be at the health fair too. Just have another sign up. Okay.
Do you have these things to be?
No. I mean, I use MR4SP to advertise things. So I don't have an online resource. I have a flash drive. Oh, thank you.
And the second thing is like, a lot of these 4 programs that we're doing are ongoing.
Mhm.
44 people that we have, and that once they get it, they're saying, yeah, that was easy, why didn't I do that?
Right.
You
Bit not again.
Actually, in addition to the 44 that we have, there are about 25 or 30 other individuals who are in the process. They're either partially finished or they want to sign up or point you in the right direction. So there's at least 30 more people that are waiting.
Mhm.
And in addition to that, we have another smaller list of individuals who have asked for another meeting with the vibe. That will come down the road, but they are ready for that second set of the last bill and DPOA. They're ready to ask the vibe to help them and get it notarized. So we have 3 different things going on.
Yeah.
It's great. It's just that thing you need to look for. And the second thing was the end of life committee, you know, that's gonna be ongoing because death is on.
Right.
And with food distribution, that seems like that's gonna keep on going. So not only have we done these things, but they're going
Right.
I don't know about the health care, you'll have to see.
It could be potentially an annual event as soon as all the festivals are over every year. I can see that being like, okay, back to my discipline.
So really, thank you so much.
No, thank you. So the only thing that comes before you is the intern. I'm like, in the corporate world, I always have interns like for the last 12, 15 years. So if anybody, you know, somebody could get some credit, like a college student could actually get credit for it depending on what their major is. So I really could use an intern to help on all of these things.
How many hours a week do you suppose?
Okay, I've been keeping track of my hours since last year, and I between 22 and 44 a month is how much I'm putting into this. It averaged to about 33 a month.
So if you were to advertise for intern, you'd be somewhere like 20 hours a week.
That would be no, 20 hours a month would be fine. 10 hours a month would even help. I mean, just like there's a whole lot, like, I mean, bless Nautica, she doesn't mind making all those phone calls, you know, like she's, and yeah, there's a whole lot more like paperwork type things and data keeping. And it's really important to keep all this data because going forward, when you go to apply for grants, you need to be able to say, this is what we did and this is what we produced. So, yeah.
Since you're using a Facebook page as kind of your go-to, I don't know if you use it, but there's a files section. We use it with one person. You can just upload anything and people can just scroll down and pick up the documents.
Yeah, so. I'm not gonna have it for our generation. I mean,
It's a resource.
yeah. But the other thing is that 125 things, that is something that Kumari is putting into what we're making, because some of those might not be relevant, like planning a funeral with coffins and things like that. Do you know what I mean? So she's going through it to add it to what's relevant to us. But we did pull different resources, and I'm hoping to not be on the committee, and that it will just, I can see some natural leaders in it already. So, and then there's a couple people with no transportation, so that's going to make some more challenges, but they have knowledge. And the age range in that committee is from age 25 to 93. So good. Or 92. How old's Myra? Yeah, she wants to be on this committee, and so that's a transportation thing, but it will make her feel really happy to contribute. So, and she has a lot to say. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be good service for her. So I'm sure that we will have no lack of people that we need to jump, and the idea is this committee, not all 8 people have to volunteer for each person who's passing away. It's like, okay, so-and-so's passing. Well, I'm going to be in India that month. Can't, but I can. So we just and then gender is an issue too. I wanted to make sure I have males. I had all females volunteer at first. So we have some males now too, and just depending on who you're working with. You're going to be working with a grieving husband, or you're working with a grieving wife to be comfortable. So we'll have all that. Cool, huh?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. My name is Asmika Asi, and I'm ISKCON mission team. Our mission statement is, our ISKCON mission team seeks to expand the quality and culture of outreach and cultivation efforts within our Alachua community. We seek to welcome everyone into the bliss and golden opportunity of learning about and sharing Krishna consciousness together. So what is a community need service that your team aims to fulfill? 2 things. One is outreach through book distribution, harinams, and special event planning. And the other is cultivation through organizing welcome and education initiatives for devotees and guests. One of our present goals is the specific goal is to design and print the following items for outreach: a 10-foot by 10-foot custom pop-up tent, a 9-by-4 backdrop banner for the tent, and a 6-foot tablecloth cover. All will be in the color of maroon and gold and white. No, we covered that topic of rival teams.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So it's not Gator?
I mean, oh no, we didn't. Yeah, we're all over Gainesville, other parts of Florida too. So this seems to be the one. And for exposure to the elements, it would retain its bright colors. Yeah. Okay, measurable. We have designed and printed it. Oh, we'll have it designed and printed by the first week of September. And designs are finalized by Janmashtami, Friday, this next week. And payment transferred on Sunday, and then orders placed by Wednesday, the 28th. This is financed by the Sankirtan team and a donor, Mother Ekadasi. And everything should be completed and delivered within the first week of September. Unfortunately, we were hoping to have it displayed right there on the Janmashtami day with all the other tents, but that won't happen. So, next page. Huh? On the top of the, let's say the backdrop in the back of the tent
changing body, we were able to obtain that. And that'll be on the front, very front face of that triangle up at the top. And on the sides will be either I mean, if Vijay Dave was here, he'd be able to display this. Yeah. So, okay. So, progress report. What have we accomplished so far? We have managed to regularly meet and make significant progress towards the following: outreach, unified design and branding plan. Cultivation. Okay, we're initial enhancement plans for welcome table and Sunday open house. We were focusing on the welcome team, so to speak, and we've opened up the front lobby now from 4 o'clock instead of from 5 o'clock. So they're particularly to welcome newcomers. And we will have also, after this tent is completed, little vertical flags with the welcome word on it, leading from the parking lot to the lobby. Oh, hey, show me that. We've started a little bag we give to anyone that does come first time. It includes a free book. It includes an opportunity to Eco Teaching Farm Bulletin. And we're also, Luke is producing a little card with the map of the grounds for public. Need to know with the Sunday schedule on the back of that card, which will be in this file. There's also a bookmark. And this, maybe you know, this was actually created just before we started our CBI team. It's called Krishna Culture at a Glance. Myself and Vijay just it's so amazing. It's all there. You know, we have the Alachua Temple contact information as well as Krishna.com. And no, and you're welcome. You're welcome to. Yeah, and you're welcome to request any whole handful of these. Have them in your car. Have them in your purse. I carry them in my wallet, my purse, and every time. Every day, sometimes 3 or 4 of them go out. They're just so simple to put it all in a glance. So please don't hesitate to request any of them, to take any of them with you. Keep them on to pass out. Yes, we got that information from the 50-year anniversary book that was passed out a couple years back. Yes. Okay, another accomplishment is in the area of cultivation. You can take, use these up if you want more. Pass the whole pack around. Okay. Cultivation. So we're discussing now to revive the Sunday school. We have identified a couple individuals for teaching. It'll take some time. We're also composing a list of interested families who have children who would want to. And then we're also discussing adult study groups. There are some people coming to the express an interest in wanting some formal education. So we're with those interested people, and we have identified teacher. And we did have, we'll be able to use Vanna or that former nursery, former shop, gift shop. It would be Sunday. It would be, if it was adult, the adult program would be just prior to 4:00, 4:15, just on that hour. And then the children, yeah, the Sunday school would be during the lecture. Still, progress. Chicago, Viveshri, she has experience with a lot of the curriculums from Aruta, from so many others. I mean, she was currently active in that in Chicago. Now she's just moved to Viveshri. Yeah. Centralized. Oh. What constraints are preventing our goals from being reached? Lack of people power and sufficient time available for present moment to the team or who regularly attend. How would you describe the team's organization and accountability? Accommodating, friendly, and inspiring. What potential resources or organizational support would improve your chances of success? If we had a roster or database of devotees who were interested or available for either volunteer or compensated positions. By the way, those teacher positions will be compensated. Yes, that's. Are there other action teams that you would like to work with? Krishna Dave writes, all teams. Our goal is welcome and assist in the cultivation of ISKCON for guests and devotees. We appreciate the work of all the CDI groups and would like to assist them by connecting inspired individuals in their direction. Additionally, any assistance we could get from their support would be greatly appreciated. We were thinking to get the help from the adult education. Maybe adult education.
I'll be happy to. Right, yeah, just because leadership wasn't there, what do you do? So I do have that background knowledge. Plus also the research we did in terms of other, online classes, some curriculum and whatever. So depending on what kind of jives, I can definitely offer those resources and we can work together to make something happen. I think Sunday school has been my long last goal. I remember running the Sunday school in this classroom here in 2001, 2002, sometime around that time. So,
You were teaching it?
yeah.
You were reading? Oh, okay.
That was excellent.
Oh.
Some of the other classes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Does your team have a social media page website? So if they do not, our goal being to connect them with the temple and other more connected resources. We felt that to have our own separate identity would not be beneficial. Who on your team will be asked to prepare the outreach? If you ever see anybody walking around their grounds with a yellow bag, you know they were here for the first time. butter. Yeah, we wear a welcome badge myself.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not me, it's our team.
Oh, no, this is. This looks amazing. Could even put these in the.
I don't know how many people really don't know about this.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah.
Passing them out to people as they came in.
Right?
Okay.
So, well, it's a hard act to follow.
Well, we're so grateful to say hello to your new neighbor.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely us, yeah. So, our team mission and statement, which was written by Susan Weiland, Sudharma Dasi. Healthy, supportive relationships build vibrant and healthy communities. Let us work together to build a community that is one in peace, friendship, prosperity with a common cause. Life as presented in the pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. May all community members feel valued, supported, and cared for, and may each member find the means to offer freely and completely their unique and special skills. And do what you're good at. So, wild to come to, because if you look at our team, it's called Devotee Relationships, which how broad can you get it? It's so broad that we have find our way through the fog. So, we were just in the fog. So we had a larger group, and people did drop out because of that. We just couldn't focus in. We just said, we just couldn't quite focus in. Yeah. Yeah, and then to teach them big lunch from the goddess format. So then we kept shrinking, and then of course the usual time, energy, out of town, all those things we incorporated, all those problems. What we've achieved so far is we did start the promoting your neighbor at the Sunday feast. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Just heard about it recently.
Yeah, so that was a real easy, didn't cost anything. It's long range. It's just like, it makes a big difference. Like, we could always say who's here for the first time, and you raise and you get a free book and a bookmark, and you can do that. So this is just added, and all we did was come up with the idea, and then look, it does it. Or forgot me, because you do it when you get the announcements on Sunday. Have you ever done it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, she skipped it when she did it.
Did she? Okay, sorry. Anyways. But typically that, we felt that that was a really great way to make relationships. New time is young, old, but people just coming in. And, I've been to places, like I went to the Buddhist community downtown, where they had a huge Buddhas, 3 of them. It's a Vietnamese one, Buddhist. It's an extraordinary place, actually. And so we went to see, my husband and I went to the installation of some of their, they're huge. I mean, they're massive. They came all the way from Vietnam in boxes. They're like thousands of pounds. If you've never been there, you should go. It's near the Sweetwater Wetlands. Anyway, so
were all talking amongst themselves. And they were, very familiar and very friendly with each other. And we were just kind of standing there, the obvious, people that don't know what's going on. We didn't know really where to sit, to there, to do this, it was just uncomfortable, but it was a great experience. Because I learned from that, when you just go into an atmosphere that you're not familiar with, you need a guide, you need somebody to say, hi, you're here, like you, hello. That's what this was. All of a sudden, everybody goes up, introduces himself. Christians do it every Sunday all the time, so, yes. And then the thing we've done is, we've started to Krishna Book meetings at night. Now, Monday is, I think Vrindavan is reading. On Tuesday is already taken night for the gathering. Yes, in the temple on the microphone after the arti. Anybody can read, Krishna Book on your phone or whatever is there. You can just read from 7 to 8. And then Buddha said, the Pujaris really like it because they can listen to the Krishna Book and dress the deities. And they, in fact, I read the other night and what's his name? There's some saffron. He just said, yeah. Rob. So I was just sitting there, trying to read and keep my, my mouth by the microphone so you can hear, that's like, oh boy, Anyway, so he comes running out, running out, and he put the little podium stand and the microphone for me, like, yeah, this is good, great. So that was an indication that, people were interested. And then Wednesday night, Thursday nights available, Friday nights there's Kirtan, Saturday is open, and then there's the Sunday feast. So our group talked about taking different slots and keeping that going. And so for our group, that's basically what we've done. We're now looking at other projects, like we talked about, maybe having 1 day like we used to have them 8 years ago, or just a community get together for anyone who wants to come, male, female, kids, where current topics are discussed, kind of like what you're having with your fair, your health fair. You would have different conferences, like pertinent topics. I like that one, how to have a career, be a devotee at the same time.
So these would be home programs?
No, they'll probably be at a, maybe we have it here, maybe in Women's Center somewhere.
So like little topical seminar.
Yeah, something like that, because the Latvia kind of had a lot of those in the old days. We haven't had it in so many.
We did a health fair like in the 90s. I remember putting it on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your team, you feel would perhaps take that on topical?
Well, we're talking about it, Megan.
How many are there? Well, we had a meeting of just 4 of us, the last couple of times, kind of restored, we were trying to figure out where we're going. And we actually ended up feeling like one, like you said, the huge big balloon of all devotees in the whole 600 family community.
Right.
is
Too much.
right, and even the organizers, the group with 12 or 14 people, schedule it, but 4 together, getting to know each other. So we were kind of taking this model of smaller groups, even within our group, meeting more regularly and coming up with ideas. We've tossed around some ideas, but we don't have a concrete plan. Maybe a yearly community thing, big but small, promoting smaller groups getting together, just get to know each other.
Yeah, that's right. And I have to say at this point that Sue Dharma has really kept this group together. Would you agree with that? Yeah, I mean, she really has kept the group together. She's done a lot of this kind of work that has come through the years. And she has she has a great scope of things that could happen. Of course, she's a little, she has health challenges, so, but I would have to say that I don't know where we'd be. I mean, our group is together, we have a lot more, we have a lot less. We don't really kind of, we don't fully understand what we're doing. But we're trying to come up with some things and we're working on it. So if we can get another couple of things together, we're happy to do that. The constraints for our goal is that, what is the goal? That's the constraint. What are we trying to do? Yeah. How would you describe the team's organization? It's okay. The organization takes a lot to get 12 people to meet. Now, reducing that, it seems to be easier. Camaraderie is fine. What potential resources support would improve your chances of success? Ideas. Are there other action teams that you would like to collaborate with? I don't think at this point. Does your team have a social media node? Who will be presenting the privately listed online for profile?
Chris, can you plan to be at the health fair, like you have a table directly be represented, because that's part of mental health, is that people should have relationships. And that's kind of what Gandari is planning to do with her table, is to connect parents with children. Let's do things together. Let's go on a picnic. Let's go on a picnic, that kind of thing. So you could be focusing on the child-free population.
Yeah. One thing you just mentioned is that we did have somebody from, what was her name, Christine?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
Like a two-part communications reminder, for parents. So, yeah, the active listening, that thing. So,
yeah. That's called Kalyapani.
Goes into our
Yeah.
daily life. That's an ongoing challenge, but if we can learn to do it, then it's fun.
Yeah, it was a nice learning experience. Kalyapani was very keen on that. So he organized that, and she came twice to Vega's house. Who's been very kind to offer her home for meeting and sit down. So, yeah, she was pretty impressed with the devotees actually, their skills.
So it would be really cool if by September 8th, you had something on your calendar. Oh, and next month come to blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? While you're tabling to promote something. And one other 2 cents to say is that when we had our first meeting of these 3 groups, I was like, we're not leaving here until you come up with something we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because you can't go on a forever conversation.
That's
That's
right.
probably why we have no real mission statement, vision, and that kind of stuff.
That's right.
But what's the first thing we need to do? Is just get momentum going. And then
Yes.
people want to join in.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like even these like subcommittees, they're not even the people that are in the regular committee kind of thing. They're working on this project.
Yeah, it's true. It's like walking on air.
And if it gets boring, I mean, who wants to have a theoretical conference? That's just me.
Yeah. No, and
But like theoretical, but no, let's just do one thing. We're gonna have a picnic, a potluck picnic, or just something simple like, hey, yeah. And then also when I was arrested for protesting nuclear power, we were this goes back to 1977, but we were organized into affinity groups, because if you were one of 1,400 or 2,000 people, you would be lost and you would be scared. So it might be something similar, is that, that's what they call them, affinity groups. But, kind of like random people, like you're gonna, the way we did the women's support groups, when we got that started, so that's just another thought.
I just want to, at this point, I just wanted to ask the 3 CDI members, beginners, attorneys, what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on what Radha is saying. As long as I've lived here in Ram Reiki, it's always been the feedback I'm getting is it's such a large community, we can't find our place. And I think everybody's experienced that on some level. Your team, I think, is the perfect team to try to somehow create these affinity groups, is a great name for it. And it's a large, project, but if we can somehow come up with a technique, maybe it would be, let's have a, kind of like the first community conference where we're doing these community exercises. It could be, let's do this one exercise where we
100 people come and we somehow get them to develop, hey, we want to get together for sports. We like to read together. We want to be a men's group. We want to be a women's group. And just help these people connect. And once, because I've been in a men's group now for 5-6 years, and it's a life changer. I mean, it's amazing. The connections you form, I mean, I'm dependent on these guys, I feel. And that's what, if we can develop that somehow in the community, it would be amazing.
Okay, well, just to address that, I also have two ladies groups that I've been in, Parker and Nautica and badminton one, and then I have another one. And I feel the same way. That might be a good thing to do, to say, anyone that's interested to, what is it? Start a group, form a group. Come.
What you do on September 8th is you're going to collect the names who's interested. You get this small initiative.
Does that sound?
Yeah, you could have a list of different potential groups and just have people fill in their names.
Are you good with a Tuesday night group, a Wednesday night group, with a Thursday night group, male or female, whatever. Make it really simple. You just sign up based on your availability.
With the affinity also, and I think a lot of people that come in, these little friends of ours, well, here, you just get you 6 individuals together, they'll still be lost. Unless somebody gives some guidance, maybe to somebody who's already in a successful women's.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a format.
Here's how we do it.
Yeah, our men's group, we have a whole men's group document with all our guidelines, and I've shared that with other devotees who tried to join our group and we just can't take it anymore. We're like,
Yeah.
just type your own, here's how we do it.
Yeah, I would like to compliment it.
And ask to take them because it's for readers. So it's going to be that. Are you going to be here on the 8th?
Yes.
Oh, when do we come?
The 4th of November,
When do you depart?
15th of September.
Oh, when you do that for the.
So, Mila, what do you have to say?
I was just thinking, I mean, it's kind of separate, but it could be kind of combined. Thanksgiving has always been a big void in our community the last couple of years, it feels like. So I know that that's a good day if you wanted to have a potluck and just invite people to come together. And, it could tag on to affinity groups or it could be separate. But that's kind of a day that's missing in terms of some kind of community organization and some kind of collaboration. Right.
Yeah, Temple had one.
Yeah, the temple's been making meals. Sometimes they sell them, sometimes it's potluck, but it's not really. It doesn't feel like a community event.
Remember the Christian Community Fund, the KCF building, and the Thanksgivings there, and the activities for the kids.
Yeah, and everyone would bring a meal for a certain amount of people, and there'd be like activities to kind of like get to know each other, focus on relationships and community. So that's just a potential day to do something for your team to shoot for, whether it's this year or next year, and say, let's have some affinity group where we, ask people their interests and try to pair them up, or let's just have a shot them, whatever it is. That's a possible event you could work towards.
I think it'd be
Because new affinity groups will have a task. They're in charge of, I'm in charge of the reporters, I'm in charge of the council,
If you can somehow put it into one of those large group exercises that are really fun,
Yeah.
it's such a great thing to do on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, we also thought maybe of doing a springs outing.
I was just gonna say spring.
The general public is going to be there.
Right,
It's
it's-
cool, no more people can come in.
Yeah, right. That was one of the obstacles.
You,
And also,
you can rent at Blue Springs. You can reserve
Oh,
like
that's
pavilion
right,
and
yeah.
X amount of people can even if it's full, they'll be allowed in. So,
Or we can go to one of the lesser known springs.
remember when in Kitchener they used to do camping trips, crazy rides? There's nothing like camping.
I want to stress again the need for more men's and women's groups. And somehow that can be promoted.
I've heard that some of the younger girls, they have a ladies group. Maybe have a book club, but it's like that. So they're kind of.
thank you.
So we've had a lot of the feedback on the spot, but I was thinking we could just go around the room and maybe everybody share if there's one item that jumped out at you in general or for a particular team. as a recommendation on a particular goal that they could go for or resource, maybe you could just go around the room one time if there's any final comments in general or specific to a team. I'll look at my notes. I thought the mission statements are happening for most of you. That's wonderful. I think it really helps to have that. I think the community groups would be a wonderful addition somehow to help pursue that.
That would really fit under the regulations. And like I said,
Every 2 weeks. I'll send that back.
Yeah.
There's a question.
Any observations, comments, appreciations on what we've heard today?
I actually thought it turned out really well. What few groups are left are the ones that are actually making broadcasts. It sounds like when I first came here, I thought they were probably just going to have very little going on, but there's actually a lot going on just between the 2 or 3 left.
I agree.
I'm pretty optimistic.
I'm actually very glad as to where things are, looking after the CDI conference 3 completed. We debated so many times that after the conference, my goal was that we forget about everything else and just focus on one, and then make that one really successful, and then go to the next one like that. Make a phase-based approach, which is what which is what I'm trained to do, and come in and help everyone. But Neela and the number will really fought hard. Let's just everybody do what they want us to do. Let's see how things go. And I'm surprised how well it's going. And I know there's still confusions. I know there's still different roadblocks and stuff. But the fact that 3 or 4 have survived and are actually really thriving. One of the big question I have is if CDI wasn't there, if we didn't do the conferences and things, do you think we would be where we are, or do you think CDI has helped?
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm really happy, and actually in my mind I have many different ideas which I'll talk to you guys individually. I think one of the biggest things I want to share with the group is that we do need to have a centralized, like I can take this project on myself, centralized way to kind of show which group is working on what project or what ideas you have. So we have a combined list at some place that can be accessed to different groups and say, if someone comes to your group and hey, I want to do this and the other, and you can say, no, go to this group because we're focusing on this.
Resources and things too.
Yeah.
That was there, you just published that, right? That was.
Our resources, CDI resources are there, but like Rada's resources, like her list of 125 and the group, the support group resources that NAM has, everything like that is centralized place for like all the team's resources, and that's on my
But
list.
what we would do for the relationships is to compile a list of everything that's already going on with this group, that group, so when somebody comes to me and they're like, gosh, I really wish I were part of a crocheting group. Okay, well, here's money, she'll get you hooked up, that kind of thing, whatever, what do you like to do?
Yeah, it's kind of like the
No, I'm thinking more of just one thing I do.
Well, that's Neela's project that I really want to get on board with.
To get the next direction.
It's the website. That's business networking. That's the one
Yes.
project of this team, and it's becoming more and more apparent that it's needed, especially with what you're all doing now.
Oh, yeah.
So it takes some time, but I think that's
A directory of groups, maybe. I don't know what you want to say.
what everybody's
Of
doing.
skills, talents, needs.
Yeah.
Devoting businesses, everything.
services available. I need someone that can mow my lawn.
Yeah.
All kinds of.
Yeah, it could be for business and it could be for social. Because, you put on there for food,
Yes, but that would be good. I'm not in any women's groups per se, but I have 2 reading groups that I regularly attend. Yeah, well, yeah, some. That's interesting. So there's a lot of different reading groups that could.
That's easy.
This question book reading, I was just listening about it. I was like, I want to go read fiction books. Because at home I read to my children, I need to make it animated. And they love it. So yeah, I won't mind doing it in the temple, and most of you want to come or see you there. By all means.
And I was, no, you just go there, I don't have a list, some helper said that, she said, yeah, it seems like it's going on.
Yeah, and if someone's reading, you sit down and listen.
That's it, I mean, you do get the outside, talking and things like that.
I remember that.
Well, Kristen Creeper, when he was there,
You would,
year class, for years.
with a community like ours, we should be able to do it regularly. And then it becomes big, that's consistent. If you did it consistently, then you will become, people will.
And I had this, idea that, well, let's have, Kristen book reading and talk about, it's kind of scary, but popcorn. Not popcorn, just it could be, coconut tuna milk. And some milk, it's, it's a very, very beautiful thing. Reading Kristen book and it's something that felt like David, is that on it. Everyone can partake in some way.
Nice that we keep going with the circle.
I'm glad, it was nice to hear all the things that are going on. It's definitely inspirational. Nice to hear about Mika's presentation because even though I'm in the group, when I'm there, sometimes it feels like nothing is happening. But there was a lot happening, so that was nice. And and definitely without the CEI, I don't think it would have happened. So thank you very much for that.
I want to just express my indebtedness to the Young Foundation. Has taken this on to lead the community in this direction. I don't want to, I wonder, do you have a goal or a date or kind of a target for when you can want to produce that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to skip ahead of everyone else, but I guess I can just, sure. Basically, I've been, I didn't realize how much work being a father would be. and between that and working, I've almost spent no time on it, unfortunately. But I do have kind of like the framework for everything I want to see there. And I'm getting more ideas every meeting that, we also need to have this incorporated, and different things from everything you all are saying. So
We have about 6 or 7 more years.
I think if we were to get together once every 2 weeks for an hour, we could get something going.
And then you send homework. I have to accomplish this and this and the next two. That's how we get.
You can bring your son to my house and work together.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna start like Nam suggested. Just dedicate an hour or two every other week. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm ready for it.
I'm just very inspired.
Well, I think that, when things can become contagious. When people say, oh, yeah, because there were a lot of people at those conferences. And there were a lot of people that, went into groups. And I think they would, rise to the occasion and, they were good and go.
On that note, I encourage you, when you're doing your presentations on Show Public Appearance Day, if you're looking for more members, just say, we want more. This is how you can be engaged, and then people.
We've been fortunate that the little things that the project, there's no work involved, no money, and it works. So, it's fun. Yeah, we're running a lot of students.
Who's going to make your presentation?
Sit down.
Oh, okay.
Good night, Haley. I see you.
Yeah, excuse my back.
What struck me really today is how much can be accomplished with just a few dedicated people. How so many of the groups have just so many people in the groups have just fallen away, but just a few dedicated people, so much can be accomplished. Amazing.
I think that's where most communities go, most of them.
Yeah.
For instance, we have countless examples of that. Sorry to Yeah, I kind of tagged along, even though the one was supposed to come, but I'm glad I did, because I also got very inspired by hearing what's going on with other groups, and I was also feeling like, well, we haven't done anything. But when everybody started talking, I realized that actually, you know, we have. And even this idea that a few people can do more sometimes. And that's, I think, what we kind of realized the last time just the four of us met, that we felt smaller groups might actually be more potent because individuals get to express themselves.
Yes.
And the, you know, the affinity idea, not everybody jives.
Right.
And when you try to get 12 people, all different, it's tricky. You know, so we're trying to think maybe whoever else was in our group can make it smaller groups. Yeah, so I'm just glad I came. And, thankful that the CBI, you know, got this whole thing started.
And we kind of had that concept in mind when we started, that it would somehow funnel down to the most committed and those who really work well together. So I'm glad it happened. I'm happy you asked the question too. Somehow we got 4 teams that are doing a lot. That's great.
Well, again, thanks to the CBI and for, having these meetings, and I'm leaving today with the same feelings of inspiration that I always get when I go to the meetings, and it makes me very hopeful for the future, not just for our community and what we're doing and what our plans are, but my heartfelt desire and prayer is that somehow this can expand and become a model for the rest of the world. Why not? You know, there are many large or growing communities that are going to need to deal with these issues, and if we can sort of, start paving the road for that, maybe even in the future when they have the annual meetings in Mayapur, someone could do a presentation on what's being accomplished here, and we could, just like the things we talked about today, I mean, it might, inspire others to want to do the same thing, and then they can come here and learn, and we have some materials out there that they can use. Yeah. So I think that this is just the beginning of something that's going to be very beneficial. Hopefully, all the roads.
I remember doing a presentation to the Temple President's meeting 20 years ago here about the importance of social service. It was probably like 93, 94, whatever. So like, that's a really good idea, like the motto. I'm also, my son's going to Mississippi in the beginning of October, and he wants me to go too, and they want me to do a table and explain social services type work in the community. So I'm debating if I can do that. I also forgot to mention, as part of Hare Krishna Social Services and all of this, we are still doing the social services, probably 20 to 30 calls a month in terms of, sometimes it's a 5-minute solve a problem, and sometimes it's ongoing for months and months, depending on the situation. So that's still going on. But so as Hare Krishna Social Services, if I were just me and I wasn't having all these committees and stuff working, it would really be more just me and Bhanumati. So this is, I didn't even think about that, but that's how we get the group. And also just a small group of people who come up with an idea and then are very specific. We're putting on a picnic on such and such a date. Can you be there at 11 to set up the picnic table? Being very specific, you can get volunteers. And I'm going to be specific. I need volunteers for the health fair to set up the tables and organize stuff like that. And also help supervise children. I don't want just the teacher with the children. There needs to be at least 2 or 3 adults, when any activity's happening with kids and escorts back and forth. So if anybody knows any high schoolers doing Bright Futures hours or also that kind of thing would be great too. So, but yeah, this is good. Thank you. Now I'm going to go to the pool party.
Or you're late.
Yeah, I know I'm late. It's okay. I mean, I think it's going to be more like a lunch. So.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm taking the food. Yeah, I'll bring the food. I just ate breakfast and I have to go eat a lunch.
Is this water?
I got water.
I liked how you did the smart goal of the the pens. I mean, think it's so helpful to have such a clearly defined.
I wrote to him and said, I don't recall anything about a smartphone format.
Right.
And then he produced this whole. He said he was gonna be at the Springs today.
Oh, we feel it spreading.
It was.
Anything else, Neil?
You're talking about.
I just wanted to say, what you said about how everybody's looking for a niche here. And that is so true, because we're a different community than a small central one road community lives in. I mean, now it's kind of like you have to make your own way. You've got to find, you got to find where you fit in, and that can take time. Because like groups are closed, and then you've got to start your own several things. It's kind of, yeah, thanks. I'm coming to you, I'm hurting here, can you help me? But it's actually a fact,
That's the
because
key.
you only can have so many people in a group. But if there was a, what do you call it, an orientation, or, okay, we've got 4 people here, but we like each other, So that's really one of the things. I mean, if you have children, you go with mothers and kids. College student, you go with college students. If you're old ladies, you go
Yeah, if Thanksgiving becomes a project for this, I'm happy to assist because I'm passionate about this.
Well, I have to say, honestly, I think if that's gonna happen, it has to be Dusty DI.
Yeah.
Because it's gone through so many twists and turns. In Vrindavaneshwari, she used to make tofu for everything, and then somebody else would make this and that. And that would go over and they charged the door, the parking lot. That went on for a while, and we did that for Krishna Community Center. Everybody brought, and that was really wonderful. But then there was a fight because people that got there first, they took all the good stuff, and the 400th person over there, they got some leftover rice, and then it happened that okay, let's just have it a quiet family dinner. That became pockets. Don't you do that?
Yeah.
Everybody, okay, you sit down, you get candles, and, everybody gets the same amount, and so, but the women at home, they're cooking, they have to put that on. And so they're like, yeah, let's go to the temple. I don't want to go there. So it's gone through all kinds of ups and downs. And I don't know what the solution is. Mookie did it last year. She wasn't going to have it. She put it up. And my guess is she'll do it again because it was. She said, I didn't know anybody was going to come. They were coming by the day.
When you say you're passionate about it, passionate about Thanksgiving event, or passionate
creating
about
more groups.
Yeah.
More groups. And I think Thanksgiving is a great way to do it.
or a great way to introduce the idea and.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe the more we go into the technicalities, we realize it's too difficult, but to me, the idea is a group exercise with everybody who's there, and they know ahead of time somehow that we're gonna be trying to create groups for devotees to, join a group, something. And then we somehow have it as this game involving the 200 people that are there, and we get them to all form, hey, if we're going to become a crochet group, we're going to become a men's group, 5 men's groups, based on age or whatever, and we somehow are able to coordinate that during the Thanksgiving event, and it'd be pretty cool.
But what about those that can play in? It's a very busy time for them.
That's a down day for us. We do the setup on Wednesday mostly. There's very little that happens on Thursday. It's kind of set aside. I mean, Dasanani, a few devotees have talked about, let's try to put on something, regular at the temple that, whatever ties into the festival or doesn't, but let's try to create something because there's kind of a void there right now on Thanksgiving. Yeah.
I think there's always been talk, right? We always talk about it, and then what we're going to do, and then people can try, okay, we can do this, we can do this.
similar kind of preparation.
Would it,
Yeah, but it's just basically coordinating one exercise and per child.
Adam or after? Everybody will be there after.
Yeah. If it's something that we want to do, it's kind of in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like the idea, and if your team would just start the process, I'm happy to join the conversation.
Well, I really love that, thanks. Bringing thanks to the community.
Each other from the roadblock, really.
And then to top it off with the Holiday Inn Festival. What do you think of it? Where did you go last night?
I think was it the mall? What was it? There's that one store, JCPenney. They give away like free $10 gift cards to everyone who walks in. So I do that yearly. I go there with like some friends and we just go in and out and out. Sometimes put a hat on, sometimes put a scarf. I got 16 of them, so it's $160 of free shopping money. And then the rest. But the downfall is it's right on, like it's, now they do it like Black Friday is now Thursday, like literally during Thanksgiving dinner. So you miss out on stuff. But then you come home with like $200 worth of stuff.
Thank you, James.
Since you asked. That's my yearly Black Friday shopping. Well, I can sacrifice.
Govinda's, I've been really amazed at how much you sacrificed for this whole CDI thing. I mean, you were always there whenever we did, whatever we needed you to do, you just did it, no questions asked, and really grateful to you for that. Thank you.
Definitely. I've been 3 years now, actually.
How did you adjust?
Well, I lived in Gainesville for the first year. So I came from LA. I lived in right on Waseca for 4 years before that. So Gainesville was the first adjustment. When I first got out here, I was, wow, it's so dark, you know, compared to LA. Yeah, I mean, I took some back street, got here like middle of the night, and I think they were like deer, and I wasn't used to the country kind of feel. So that was the major adjustment for me, at least. Like, where are all the people? So I was a little scared, so I moved to Gainesville for a year. And that was like a stepping stone, but now I love it. I have almost half an acre, I grow all sorts of stuff on it.
But how did you adjust relationship-wise?
I mean, I've pretty much, I've known like people from India, like, because I grew up in India, so whoever like fish and all the groupies that visit India, I knew them all from there. Haven't really made too many new friends. Where I hang out with them a lot, just because our kids all go to this school. I feel like my age is not too difficult because I'm kind of in between, so I can get along with a lot of the age groups. So it's not so difficult. 32. If I pass off, it's like 40.
34.
Password?
We want to
On my chain of thought.
All right, well, it's just about 12 o'clock. Any final comments? We never really got to you.
Sure. So 3 things I wanted to mention, just hearing what all you were talking about. I remembered that when we gave you guys the books at the end of the 3rd conference, there was a list of devotees who didn't want to be actively involved, but who were resources, devotees you can call on. So if there's something you're struggling with manpower, or you're struggling with, I need someone to help with marketing, some just very simple, straightforward task, look to those books and reach out to those devotees because, they offer. So it's at least worth a phone call. Someone just calling and saying, can you come on the 8th of September and help with setup? Or can you help with this marketing? Or can you help with this admin thing that we're struggling to do amongst ourselves? So remember that. And then also our CDI team, we don't have a huge following, but we do have 500 emails or so. So for events like this health fair, we could potentially send out an email blast to everyone in our list and just let them know that here's something that one of the groups is putting on, and it's open to everyone, just to kind of get awareness out there. So just reach out to us and we'll help facilitate that. And then the last thing is, yeah, the website project. I'll email out to everyone at some point, you know, the template that we have, and then you all can give comments on if you think there's something that additionally we should try to look at adding to this kind of website plan that we're talking about. So, you know, I'll send out what we have to start with, and then we can build on it, you know, with input from everyone as far as, yeah, what are the things that could be on there.
Yes,